Welcome back to the Spector Creative channel. My name is Scott Neitlich, also known as Toy Guru Online, because I've been making toys for a long time and collecting toys. And today I want to talk from a toy perspective about Batman and Robin. And it's actually kind of a little bit of Batman versus Robin, especially when it comes to kid appeal. Not collectors here, not the adults like us who have tons of Batman action figures on our shelf, all divided by year, but rather looking at why Robin, from a kid perspective, is better than Batman. And yes, I know what you're going to say. Wait, no. Batman is way cooler than Robin. I mean, heck, even look at toy assortments, right? There's usually like one token Robin, and you get like multiple Batmans and villains, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, yes, that is true. There are way more Batman action figures in the world, and you can look and see why Batman is so aspirational to kids. I mean, he's got all the coolest gadgets. He gets to wear a belt that has, all sorts of things like crime-stopping things in it. Not to mention he's got a garage full of like really, really cool vehicles. And of course, Batman.
He lives in a lair.
All right, so with all those reasons tallied up of why Batman is great, how do we measure the fact that Robin is more aspirational for kids? A very bold statement, right? I mean, there's many ways of understanding who the most popular superhero is. You could argue with people at your local comic book shop so you're blue in the face, or now do that on the internet from the comfort of your own home and, never leave your computer or your pajamas behind. And of course, we could try to quantify it with more real world data, such as, looking at costumes. Measuring Halloween costumes is actually one of the best ways to understand what kids like, because kids see Halloween costumes as a way of being the hero, so it bridges that aspirational gap. It's a great way to measure what kids like, or, maybe looking at the box office results and seeing what superheroes are more popular. Now, of course, there's never been a Robin movie, so, it's a little hard to measure Batman and Robin in terms of that. But taking it to a different level, it's not just Batman and Robin I'm talking about, but really superhero and sidekick. So the important thing about Robin is that he is a teenager, right? I mean, yes, I know like Dick Grayson grows up to become Nightwing, but let's just talk about Robin as Robin, whichever version of the character. But it doesn't have to just be Robin. It could be any teenage superhero. And you're saying, wait a minute, teenage superheroes are more aspirational to kids than, adult superheroes, Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, the mighty Spector. Okay, it doesn't have to be Marvel and it doesn't have to be DC. It could be, either one. And there are teenage superheroes at both companies. But for kids, what is the gateway? Well, kids like what they like, obviously, right? They don't like being told what to like. They like discovering things on their own. So what is it that's so appealing about teenage superheroes? Why in the world would Robin, again, to go back to our original example, be cooler than the Batman? All right, well, let's dive into this because it's quite interesting. And yes, I have had access to the actual data when I've been working in the toy industry, and I've seen the liking reports and can use that to quantify it. But I want to try to explain it since obviously that's proprietary information that I can't just share. Now, obviously, not all sidekicks are teenagers. There are adult sidekicks, too, out there, Arthur. But for the most part, and especially going back to the Golden Age when sidekicks were really big, they tended to be kind of a miniature version of the main hero. They had the same powers, they lived with them, they were sort of their ward, if you will. I mean, that's Batman and Robin's relationship. And they tended to sort of be a team that worked together, as advisor or as a Padawan and Jedi Master kind of thing. And in the Golden Age, you saw this a lot, like a real lot, where every superhero's sidekick tended to be sort of just a miniature version of them. Same powers, very similar origin. And so the team up was a lot of times because they had similar goals, but they were also linked based on, how they got their powers or, who their archenemy were, quests, that kind of thing. All right, so the rationale for adding sidekicks into superheroes in the Golden Age is the same reason they're more aspirational today. They make the content more relatable. All right, yes, Kids like Batman. Kids like dressing up as Batman. Batman roleplay is incredibly incredibly well selling. That's not quite a phrase. And obviously, kids like to dress up as Robin too. And you're not going to measure that one to one because, yes, you will find more kids dressing up as Batman. But with Robin, it's that he's a more achievable goal. And let me explain that because that's the key to everything. Children obviously like achieving things and like growing into roles and like getting new responsibilities, raises in their allowance, extended bedtime, all of that. And when kids see the future and look at themselves as an adult, that seems like a really, really far off thing. You have to see the world through a child's eyes. And for a child, the world is kind of a very big, scary place. Adults are giants. Buildings are ridiculously huge. The world is this really big place that when, you're small, it's even, you ever go back to like a playground and see it as an adult and realize how small it is? Think of a child looking up at a giant skyscraper. It's going to look like a palace in the sky. Or look at a child looking at a vehicle. They're going to see it as, very monstrous and huge. So that's a key part of it, is looking at everything not as we look at it as an adult collector or even as an adult, but as a child. So the relationship between Batman and Robin, again, going back to our original example, and you can substitute any hero, Human Torch and Toro, Cap and Bucky. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Speedy and Green Arrow. Not as many sidekicks in Marvel, is there? Well, the thing is, the sidekick is just a few years from now. It's more achievable age-wise, and that's the key. It's an achievable goal. Kids see being an adult as something that's so far off in the future, but they see teenagers as something that they can be quickly. So, again, Batman and Robin, Batman's already got all the stuff. He's got the Batcave, and he's got the Batcomputer, and he's got the Bat Lobsters, and all of that. So Robin can sort of join him, and everything is already set up. He doesn't have to do any of the work of creating the superhero headquarters and stuff, if you will. He can basically join the adventure right away. There's no waiting period. Batman did all the work. It's kind of like a super adventure club that immediately the sidekick and a child can see themselves as entering because everything's set up for them. They get a membership, they get their costume, and bam, they're ready to, join the super adventure club and do what it is superheroes do best, fighting crime and, fighting crime. Do they do anything but fight crime? I guess they save the world. And obviously, kids want to see themselves as the main hero. They do. I'm not saying they don't want to see themselves as Batman, but Batman is really far off, and he has to do all this work to become a hero. For kids, there's an easy way and a hard way, and the easy way is to become the sidekick. That's why they were introduced in the 40s, because they became an avatar for kids to see themselves as going along with the adventure. And that's the whole point. You're joining the adventure. You're seeing yourself as part of the story. You are not the main, the main hero. You're the sidekick that's traveling with the hero. And that is the key to why sidekicks, Robin, teenagers, are often more aspirational than the main hero for kids. All right, what'd you think? Am I totally wrong? Give me your opinion. That's what the internet's all about, sharing opinions, right? We love doing that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do share it with others. It helps a ton. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the comment section and in the next video. Bye now.